Well, it's me again, on a Friday, the 3rd of April of the year 2026. I almost said 3. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, it is 7:58 in the morning, and the original video that I had planned to post today is now null and void because of some technical advancements that are fast approaching. So I guess you could call this another filler video. I make these on occasion when the original video I intended to post originally no longer applies to certain sensibilities or strictures that have been put in place, and I need something to fill in the space when I promise to do something. But anyhow, as you can see, I'm not necessarily on camera. I'm sort of recording audio, which will be later overlaid over top pictures and made into a video or underlay. I don't know the whole technical aspect of the thing, but I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Instead of like talking about my usual thing of, well, actually, I really don't have a usual thing. I just basically talk about whatever I fancy at the time, be it books or watches or writing or just any number of random things. Sometimes I do discuss random things, particularly 50 in one video that I've done a couple times. Other than that, I thought I would actually talk about something that I don't think I've discussed before, although I've made similar videos in sort of the vein to it, and that's podcasts, and particularly what kind of podcasts I like to listen to. For those of you that don't know, I don't listen to very many podcasts. If anything, my brother listens to more than me, typically when he's driving me from place to place on weekends or what have you. And the main reason for that is because, one, I don't necessarily, my sensibilities and his are not necessarily aligned, and a lot of the recent podcasts within the past, shall we say, 6 years, are rife with material that it is best not to reflect on at length for me, and it would be best if I don't listen to them. That, and there's far too bloody many of them, and to be caught up in one is to desist from the more important business of the day, which is my reading and or writing, and hopefully very soon taking up of new trades, which I'll discuss at later dates. But I do have a select few podcasts that I do listen to, and I won't talk about all of them in this video because, well, I'm still in the process of listening to them. Uh, One is the Lovecraft E-Zine podcast, which is several thousand episodes long, and I barely just started. I'm like in 2014 or so, and I think I even took a break from it. I need to get back to it, but it's basically about the works of H.P. Lovecraft and related subjects and whatnot. It's actually quite good, but I'll talk about them another time. But the one I actually want to pimp, shall we say, is one that you lot have most likely never heard of and would benefit greatly from actually partaking in this. And it's a podcast that's fairly obscure and borderline inaccessible through most means. You cannot necessarily find it on most podcast apps. The only source where you can find it, at least to now, is on YouTube or YouTube Music, which I'm very much thankful for because I've been seeing less and less of a need to actually use YouTube of late, and to basically get away from it in whatever way I can, be it through different services or just active work really is ideal. But that's besides the point. The podcast I want to talk to you about is actually happens to be my favorite podcast of all time. I've listened to it a number of times straight through, and it often doesn't take me very long. It takes me about, I don't know, maybe 3 days. I just got through listening to it for I don't know how many times, and I figured it might be of interest to you. The show's called Your Book is Why Daddy Drinks, and it's hosted by two men by the name of Matt Maravich and Tyler King. And the reason why you've probably not heard of this podcast is because it is technically defunct or discontinued. The reason being that it wasn't necessarily archived in the best way that would ensure longevity through years. A lot of these episodes were originally, I guess, sort of broadcast through Google Hangouts, which is a defunct service, and mostly posted on like Podbean or something. Originally there were like 4 or 5 different seasons in about almost, I don't know, 50 or so episodes. There's about maybe 10 or 12 episodes a season, but because of something or other, a lot of those ended up being lost, and what ones remain can only be found through YouTube in video form, or YouTube Music through just basically the files or what have you. And I'm not even certain if these people are still alive anymore, because all of these episodes were recorded from 2012 to 2016, just before things started to get intolerable for most people, shall we say. Not necessarily for me. You'd have to wait about maybe 3 or 4 years for it to get intolerable for me. But for most people, that period from about 2012 to 16 is basically Arcadia on Earth. No, Arcadia is on Earth. Or is it? No, I need to go back and look at my mythology, but we'll see. Anyhow, so a lot of the, shall we say, rhetoric and just, dare I say, triggers that would in effect be somewhat disconcerting to most people is from that period, abrogated, as they have not yet originated. And it's just a welcome escape from the reality in which most live. And I realize it's coming on to 8 minutes that I've been actually discussing this matter, and I haven't even discussed what this podcast is even about. What this podcast concerns is it's basically a review show of various books that are either critically lambasted or that the hosts, Tyler and Matt, found just particularly execrable. And oftentimes it involves them drinking mass quantities of alcohol, because that's a thing. And I must admit, it can be pretty crude and crass and ribald at times. There's a lot of coarse language and profanity in certain instances. One of them I know for a fact is an unrepentant atheist, in that he referred to the 12 apostles as, quote, Stone Age shepherds, and essentially sees Robin Williams as his true savior, in spite of our Lord Jesus Christ. But I'm willing to forgive him for that, because this is the greatest podcast known to man, in my opinion. And there's like maybe one bit in there, in one of the episodes, that is slightly disconcerting, maybe 2. I'll provide timestamps for those, or I have provided timestamps for those, to where you can skip over them and just basically be immersed in a sort of timeless experience of these. Now, going back to the whole archiving thing and how it was really kind of not necessarily well conceived, and how most of the episodes are lost. And there are about, I shall say, maybe 20 or so available to the public, 17 of which are from a primary channel, and maybe 2 or 3 from a separate channel. And of those 20 or so, 17 of them can be listened to on YouTube Music. The others you have to go to YouTube, unfortunately, in order to hear of them. And it's basically seasons 3 to whatever episodes are there in season 3, and then there's season 4. I think the entirety of season 4 or series 4, have you put it, is widely available, save for one episode or other. It's just that it's not necessarily the fault of the creators. It's more a fault of the system in which it was used to be preserved, and how really it was unreliable, which I'm going to talk about at length in that longish video I plan to make, whenever that's going to be. It's a big issue of mine, this digital archiving thing, but I won't talk any more about it because I don't want this video to be saturated with that stuff. But anyhow, so you got most of season 4, pretty much all of, or no, most of season 3, pretty much all of season 4, and the first 2, and so far as I know, the only 2 episodes of season 5 at the ready, available to you in about maybe 2 playlists, one of which can be played on YouTube Music, and the other including basically the 2 videos, or 2 or 3 videos from a separate channel that can be played on YouTube exclusively. And I will provide links in the description where you can find these and listen to them yourself. And I think that you'd find it pretty engaging, and just really a welcome break from the tedium that is this 21st century, even though it was a product of the 21st century. Also, there's a lot of pop culture references and such from these people who were at the time in their 30s when they were talking about this. And, so you'd hear a lot of stuff circulating around that time, from around 2014 to 16 is when these episodes came out. And so for those of you at the time who have nostalgia for that era, which I honestly don't, I have nostalgia for basically the early and late 2000s, because that's when I grew up. I was basically already mature in the 2010s or 15s or teens or whatever, and really just see that as, more years behind me, if anything. But if any of you happen to be interested in that frame of time in history, do listen to it, and you may get a laugh out of it, I'd say, and perhaps maybe even find some books to either avoid or just read for a laugh or two, just to see how bad these things are. And you will warm up to the hosts as well, in spite of some of their convictions or whatnot. I don't know, like I said, I'm not entirely sure if these people are even alive anymore. But nonetheless, this is my favorite podcast of all time. I've listened to it hundreds of times. Discovered it back in 2017, back at the height of my, I guess, ascendancy as a teenager in high school and whatnot, and have listened to it faithfully ever since, and I recommend you do the same as well. So, the show is called Your Book is Why Daddy Drinks, and it's from about 2014 to 16, and just have a merry time with it. And let me know what you think of this, and perhaps you may find, I don't know, a new favorite podcast, or just get a little bit of an insight as to what I listen to outside of music. I've talked about my various tastes in music over the years, and typically I listen to this podcast. I just got through writing a novel that took me about 3 months to complete, and I figured, I have several days in which I can do nothing while I prepare for the next one, and I listened through it all straight through in 3 days. So it won't take you very long, and they technically have more than those episodes. They did like a whole, I guess, stream of all of at least the first three Twilight films. I tried making my way through them, but they're just kind of boring because they're really just watching the movies and occasionally commenting on them. It's not after the fact, it's during it. And but the episodes themselves, where they talk about bad books, they're among the most cherished treasures of humanity, at least in my eyes. And I would say that they are worth burning onto DVDs, perhaps, as a means of archiving them, if for nothing else. And that's all I'll say about it. I hope you folks enjoyed this sort of filler video. I don't know when it'll be posted, because it takes about 3 hours now for me to upload a video. It's ridiculous. I don't know exactly how that happened, but nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this podcast that I'm recommending to you. And maybe soon I'll be back with a little bit better of a setup and just more interesting things to bring forth to you. Anyhow, that's it. We'll be seeing you here next time. And I hope you have a good morning, midday, afternoon, evening, midnight, whenever you plan on seeing this, or really whenever it's posted. I have no idea if it'll even be posted today. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.